And we're back tonight on the day where Carol Baskin takes over Joe Exotic's zoo.
I think it's funny.
I just hope they film her being brought into it.
Just skipping around. Do, do, do.
This is mine and this is mine.
These tigers are mine. Hi, baby.
Do you think she'll call him? She'll call into the prison from one of the cages.
He has to be seething.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like, flipping out.
He was crazy before.
His whole he ruined his life.
Just to try to take her out.
He hated her so much.
Yeah, just to try to take her out. Well, and there was the mistreatment of all the tigers, too.
Oh, that was...
He was, yeah. All right. Now, on other news, while they're showing stuff from the ISS, we're going to do some reading from this, volumes 1 through 3. And apparently I got tagged on Instagram. Somebody bought this for her boyfriend.
Oh, fine.
So I think that's nice of her. And thank you. So there we go.
Well, if they like sci-fi, it is a fun book.
I think so.
I mean, I thought so before I met you.
All right. Sibel looks out into empty space. This is starting to really anger him now. He's been playing cat and mouse with the enemy for far too long. Mike Translow's ship is supposed to be here. Instead, there's nothing out here, and long-range scanners don't tell him anything useful regarding where they might have gone. I don't see how this is possible, he says, more to himself than to his subordinates. He has been unable to locate any further things said by Geyer which would shed light on what is happening. He cannot escape the feeling that he is somehow on the verge of something big, a breakthrough, the likes of which he can only imagine. He also has a cold chill running down his spine as he's looking into empty space. If the ship's gone, and there was empty space where that steel object came from, could this all be connected? Word from a spy within their army state that Gora was with Mike Translow and made some sort of promise that got him freed, even only temporarily, Rek answers. Freed? My God, Mike Translow's an idiot. I knew we should have had Gora killed months ago. He'd be more trouble for us than he's worth, Sibel says, slamming his hands down on the nearest control panel. He doesn't really care what he's slamming his hands down on right now. He's the ruler of Altil and doesn't want anyone to jeopardize that. Most of our people believe him to be dead, Rek explains. Maybe their ship was destroyed and your rule over our world is secure and complete. Even if Gora comes back, our people know that you are their ruler. They would not welcome him back. You are the one with vision, our true leader. Sibel glares at Rek and considers snapping his neck. He doesn't really see the point in such an exercise right now, though. He may follow through on that later when he has more time. I want to believe that I am seen that way, but Geyer's lineage is still seen as the chosen one to lead our people. I can manipulate those prophecies, but it'll take time. I don't feel like I have a lot of that going on right now. There's too much that I do not understand. Their ship could have been sucked into a black hole. That'd leave no trace behind, Rex says, trying his best to cheer Sibel up. He feels less aggravated than his boss was. The longer a life he should have as a result. It was well known being a leader within the Altilian forces meant a dramatically shortened lifespan for most. Sibel would answer Rek, but he feels the man is a lost cause. He simply turns away and faces the wall instead. The wall doesn't say things that are pathetic in a vain attempt to kiss up to authority. Sibel knows this is the case since he did that himself when he was with Gora and to a lesser extent Ver. In this case, he needs to focus on the task at hand, which is finding Mike. They traced the black ship's jump spot to this point, so where were they? Since becoming the leader of Altil, Sibel has been digging through everything he could find that belonged to Gora. If the previous leader had known about it, he wanted to know as well. He had found diaries, both video and written. He'd found calendars, both digital and written. He had found books of research papers that Gora had pored over, but there was always entries missing. There were always blank spots in all of this information. He had become convinced that Gora had some secrets near and dear, which worried him greatly. There was simply no chance that Earth or Falteres had carried out that attack against Altil. As much as he'd love to pin the attack on them, he knew it was not possible. The only other possibilities were a threat against them against them, or that somehow there was a way for Gora to attack his own people. That was all Sibel could figure. He would love to suspect Geyer, but he knew Geyer was long dead. The recently watched videos from Geyer showed that he had made the wrong people angry and caused the weapon to be fired that would impact their world, but he never mentioned Earth or Fultares in the videos that he had access to. The concept of a self-inflicted attack like this wasn't totally out of the realm of possibility, considering Altel's past under the leadership of Geyer. But back when Sibel was merely a foot soldier, he had seen Geyer call for attacks on positions held by forces on Altair and blame deaths on rebels who didn't exist. Back then, Sibel had admired such ruthlessness in the face of desperate times, but now was working against his leadership. The issue there was that Gora was not Geyer. He had killed plenty as the leader of Altil. He had killed slaves, enemy soldiers, his own soldiers, and plenty of his higher-ranking officials. He had just never shown the willingness to go to the extremes that his father had. There had even been rumors at one point that Geyer intended to kill Gora and pin the death on Altair so he could attack and destroy that world with the same ferocity he had with Conley. The theories about time travel, Sibel says as he turns and faces Rek again. What do you know about them? Rek backs off and seems confused by the question. I know I'm a military man, not a man of science. I'd gladly weigh in if I knew something more than the basics. I know that theories have been around for centuries regarding the feasibility of such an undertaking. That's really all I have, though. I know Conley was heavily into it before their demise, and that Geyer had some interest in it as well. You think that's connected to this? I need someone who might know what the hell's going on here. Where's Dizak? Sibel asks. Again, Rex at a loss. I haven't seen Dizak in some time. Why would you bring him up? He was working with Geyer on time travel. I found a mention of it in some very interesting reading materials Gora left behind. I don't think it was supposed to be left behind, and I only saw one mention of him. That makes me wonder what else might have been said, written, or recorded in any fashion regarding him. Sibel looks out at the empty space in front of their ship again. The only visually appealing item is the center of the galaxy before them. He knows that might be significant, but he doesn't know how yet. Next scene. Tanya and Craig stand in the landing bay and await the arrival of a shuttle, which is being piloted by Katie Translow. They were called, and then nothing came through when they answered. Considering how volatile things were, it was good to see she was okay. At least they hoped she was, anyway. They can only stand for now and try to look calm in the face of the unknown. The shuttle enters and lands. Force fields in place which are able to maintain the atmosphere in the bay while allowing the ship entry. It hovers for a few moments before gently landing on the steel floor. Door opens up and Katie Translow steps out with Kelsey Hart, and behind them is Dizak. Craig draws his gun right away and points it at Dizak, only to have Katie step between the two of them. No, Craig, he's here with me. He's here to help. What's going on? Tanya asks, resisting the urge to draw her gun as well. We were hailed, answered, and then you weren't there. Now you show up with an Altillian and your sister. Kelsey nods. This has been a really weird day. She's telling the truth, though. It was his idea to seek out the Guardian, and you're here. So lucky for us and everyone else, and we can all put our guns away, she says to Craig. Craig does lower his weapon, but he's not convinced. It was his people who tried to annihilate humanity with that damn virus in Arcology 1237. I watched the place go mad. That was the third Arcology that had been used as a laboratory for their twisted plan. I wasn't there, Dizak says. I didn't agree with that plan at all. I think war should be fought with some form of dignity, especially if you're claiming to be the ultimate life form in the galaxy, which is what Geyer and Gora had then claimed. Now I keep listening to that idiot Sibel talk about it. Not all of my people like what's happened. There is no honor to it. We need to talk, Katie says to Tanya as she grabs her by the arm and leads her out of the landing bay, everyone else falling in behind them. Look, my husband's been lured by Gora not only to another part of space, but to another point in time. I know that sounds insane, and I'll allow Dizak to explain the rest. Don't like the sound of this, Tanya says as they step into the elevator. She presses the appropriate button for the trip to the bridge, and the elevator springs to life once the doors close, everyone equally uncomfortable at this moment. The Guardian isn't supposed to be here at all. We're supposed to be in training exercises for another week before we get reevaluated. We need this ship, Dizak says. It is the only one that might stand a chance where we're going. The Vindicator may have a good showing as well, but they are gone right now, so this is the second option. So, time travel, seriously, Craig asks incredulously. Dizak nods as the elevator reaches the bridge, and they all walk out where a number of soldiers raise their guns at the sight of Dizak. Is this seriously going to happen everywhere I go? Dizak asks. I'm not here to harm any of you. We're traveling through time, everyone, Craig says with a laugh. I swear I've now heard everything. Listen, Dizak says as his patience wears thin. I'm here to help you and to save my own people. That attack on Altel everyone witnessed was by Geyer himself. He's not dead. He's very much alive and well. He's creating a perfect situation for himself to return as a hero. He'll blame that attack on Earth. He'll try to create a utopian civilization of his own imagining after he kills everything and everyone on Altair, Earth, and then Falteres. That attack was about ego. It was carefully calculated through a series of jumps through time. What he doesn't know is that every jump through time he makes creates a small hole in the fabric of the universe which holds the future together. That future will eventually cave in on itself as the universe tries to fix the wrongs he's committed. Anyone from this time period who's in the future will cease to exist. That has grave implications for your war effort since both the E-215 and the Vindicator are in that future with Geyer. This ship has the capability of making a difference. That's why I'm here. I and others like me are threatened with death for having emotions and caring about our supposed enemies. I was raised to hate, but I rejected that belief, even though I knew the risk I was taking in the process. I am here at my own peril. I know people here hate my people. I fully admit that your kind are more merciful than mine. That said, time is of the essence here. We need to get this ship to the right spot in space and then deal with Geyer and Gora on our terms. How do you know all of this? Craig asks. I spent a lot of time working with and for Geyer as well as Gora. Time travel was Geyer's dream, and I helped make it a reality. I'm not proud of my role in this, and I want to redeem myself. I just want to find a way to end the war before this takes the ugly turn that I know it can and will without intervention, Dizak says, trying to look around the room at every man and woman present. He doesn't want anyone to feel like they're not a part of this. He's a lot like Dragston, Craig says to Tanya. Yes, she agrees. Let's go save our friends. The rest of the soldiers present all lower their weapons, though not all of them appear to be happy about it as they continue to glare at Dizak. If you're lying, you'll die, one of them says. If I'm lying, I will die. If I'm telling the truth, I may very well die too. This isn't about me, this is about making things right, Dizak answers as he picks an empty space along the wall to stand in front of. He can't be invisible, but this is as close as he's going to get right now. Well, let's head to the future then, Craig says and looks at Dizak. Where is this future exactly? Find the last known coordinates of either E-215 or the Vindicator and you'll have your answer. That's where we need to go, Dizak answers. Oh, excellent. I'm going to the spot where two of our best ships have already disappeared without a trace. This should be fun, Craig mumbles, more to himself than anybody else. Tanya's attempt to shush him means his voice is carrying more than he had intended. Next chapter. Yeah, I got time for one more scene. Sure, right? Right?
Yes.
Does this help your day at all?
Yes.
Okay. It's been a long, trying day.
Oh my gosh.
Alright. Mike tries to process what has happened as the ship docks with E-215. They had come out to find it, and now that they had, he had no idea how they'd get back to their time where they belonged. There was concern on his part he might never see his wife again, but he has to shove those fears down as they had greater concerns to address. They didn't have a lot of time as Altilian forces were certainly searching for them. The airlock between the two ships opens and Mike finds himself face to face with John Webster. I'm glad to see you, John. Feelings mutual, but how did you get here? John asks as he steps into the Vindicator. He shakes his head. I didn't think I would be out in this. I figured the Peace Restorer would be the first ship we saw, if we ever saw any of the ones we actually knew. It's easy to give up hope out here. It just seems so hopeless, really. I wish I was the bearer of good news, John. We went to that same spot in space where you disappeared and brought one individual who felt he could actually help us. That was a mistake. Who did you bring? John asks as they make their way down the corridor which leads them to the bridge. You're going to yell at me for this, but Gora said he could help. He seemed to want to help, and he seemed sincere in his desire to make a difference. I spent months with him, felt like I'd won his respect, and when he had the chance, he stabbed us all in the back. He didn't hesitate for a second, and that's not even the worst of it. Geyer is alive, and apparently is alive in the future where we are right now, Mike explains. John stops in his tracks. He tries to process so much hard-to-believe information all at once. Mike, what the hell were you thinking? I knew you'd say that. I've been thinking the same thing since all that crap went down, but we don't have much time to talk over everything we need to do. We need to find our way back home. Well, first we have to kill the two heads of the Altilian monster. If we can take down both Geyer and Gora with one furious battle, then we do it. Mike shakes his head as they continue walking their way to the bridge. We have to play this smart, and I mean a lot smarter than things have been played to this point. The Vindicator was able to survive a battle with whatever ship Gora went to, but we aren't going to survive long in a straight fight where they know what this ship can do. There was a surprise factor, I think, because they couldn't get in a single hit on us when we hit them. John stops again. So we came from the past into the future, and they were right there, but they didn't know what they were up against? You would think 200 years in between, when you disappeared and reappeared, they would have learned something about your ship and any weaknesses it might have. This just seems really odd. They resume their walk for the now short distance to the bridge, and John is taken aback by seeing Dradgen standing there. He pauses, and Dradgen picks up the unease. What is it, John? You're on E215. Pardon? You from the future. You're on E215 now. I found you on a ship with this Alan Webster guy in command, and you had some ideas regarding what's happening here with Alan. Wasn't listening to you, so I took you with us. You kidnapped me then, Dradgen says. No, you came on your own free will. I can't really explain it. Maybe I can. The older version of Dradgen says as he enters the bridge and everyone present lets out a collective gasp. There are spies among Alan's crew. They tell the Altanians everything regarding what we do, where we go, and what is happening. In taking me from that ship, John has gained a tactical advantage that our side hasn't had in a long time. The ability to travel through time is one that Geyer discovered back even before your time. It gained him the upper hand in the destruction of Conley and in the enslavement of my people. It's given him every advantage, and he found a way to dominate the past, present, and future, and somehow the man never ages and can die over and over again before again drawing breath. He looks at the younger version of himself and smiles. I remember when I was you. I remember when people listened to me. Now I am seen as a crazed old man who makes wild stories just for attention. I can't tell you how long it's been since I felt like people were actually listening to me. That future outside that window, that should never have been. We either find a way to go home, or we take them out at this point in time. It should never have reached this breaking point. Well, you say all the right things to me, the younger Dradgen says with a smirk. Maybe you can explain this time travel concept to me. The older version of himself nods. I can tell you what I've learned in my studies of time travel. Maybe we can work together on finding a way home. Both versions of the same Altarian man leave the bridge, heading for the younger version's headquarters. Did anyone else find that really weird? Jim asks amongst the silence. And that's the end of that scene. And there's a really, really long one that follows as we get set up. So one thing that I wanted to do in that was I'm like, all right, so I've got an older version and a younger version of the same character. I'm going to stick them together. Because in most shows, you don't necessarily see them just get together. There's some, they can't occupy same space, time cop. Or, you don't want to mess with the past, Back to the Future. So I was like, hell with it.
Well, and then there's, like, Harry Potter, they can't see each other. Like, the one from the present can't see the one from the future. Yep.
So I was like, yeah, no, I'll do that different. Because I thought that made it more interesting that you could have, and then we'll see that happen with another character in the book too, where a past version and a present version come into conflict and discussions with one another. And I thought that made it interesting in a way that, is a little bit different than the way a lot of the other science fiction writers may handle it. But, yeah, so things look good with NASA. Oh, that's a pretty planet. Which one's that? That's nice. That looks all peaceful and quiet and all clean water. I don't know where that would be. So, did you get all your pinning done?
No.
Did you get almost all of it done?
I got about half of it done.
Oh. At least you've had a nice, quiet, peaceful day.
There's thing. I've got 3 kids. It doesn't happen.
And they're all listening and they're all behaving.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of yes, Mom. Whatever you'd like, Mom.
It's not ever a thing.
Whatever you would like.
Never.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
You're so wise.
Oh my gosh. Children are fun.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So
teenagers are my favorite.
Anyways, this is the 7th video I've done today.
But as a bonus, when Adelaide's a teenager, you know how everybody says the teenage girls are the hardest? We'll only have one.
I don't know that teenage girls are the hardest. The one way that it was toughest for me between having raised a girl and a boy was she hid things better.
Oh,
so it was way easier for a girl to, how's your day? Fine.
Yes.
And it wasn't, whereas, you know, Noah would come home throwing stuff.
Fine, yeah.
Just all mad, and school was
Not
stupid.
Fair.
This is stupid today. And okay, so I know what's going on with you. And with her, it would just be, I didn't really think anything of it. So,
yeah. I could definitely see that.
Yeah. There you go. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. I'm wearing my Planet Express jersey again. I wore this in a News of the Day video. It's a Dr. Zoidberg. So, because Zoidberg's the greatest. He's one of the greatest characters in history. He really is. Just amazing. Anyways, so we're probably, I don't know how many videos before we're at the end of this book. Not very many, though, because there's page 290 goes to page 342, so that's 52 pages. Now that we got taxes done, we'll be able to do these more regularly.
Yeah.
So.
True. Taxes are fun.
Not really.
No, they're not.
The self-employed thing's kind of ass.
You know, before being self-employed, taxes were so easy.
T4s. Just done.
No,
there you go.
Sign into CRA. Okay, automatically filled. Ta-da! Done.
Yep.
Nice. I get how much back? Fantastic.
Now it's self-employedness. Wait, I owe you for what?
Oh, crap.
Nuts. That's not... All right. Okie dokie. But, you know, look at it this way. Means more content for you fine people. Means more dancing around and, you know, maybe I get cymbals and a funny hat and, you know, I can do the whole trained monkey thing. So, you know, a little more singing and dancing. Lots of live streams. Lots of, hey, let's hang out. So, anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. I don't expect to gain subscribers through these videos. People I would imagine watch from the start, because it'd be weird to come in the middle.
Wouldn't make much sense.
Wouldn't make any sense at all.
There's
You'd be like, I don't understand any of these characters. It's just like the reviews for the book, for the individual books, where somebody will buy part 3 and then they'll complain they don't understand who any of the characters are. Yeah, because you came in the middle. It's like trying to pick up Lord of the Rings at Return of the King. Well, what ring? What's this for? Why are they doing that? I don't know. This is stupid. What the hell? There's a reason that I've got numbers on them. The numbers tell you which order you need to read them in. Why are you trying to skip to the end? Anyways, there you go. But at some point in time, once we've got all our taxes paid for, I'm going to look at professionally getting those done.
Edited, that would be good. I think
professionally edited and published would be good.
Reading it over, are you seeing how...
I can pick up typos in there. I correct spelling. I correct words when I'm reading it.
Yeah.
And correct some of the grammar. If people are following along, I'm correcting some of the grammar along the way. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It means a lot. And we will be talking to you again soon. I do want to do these more regularly than we have been, and I apologize that they haven't been getting done more regularly. Same with the News of the Day videos on this channel too. So thank you guys for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.